Hi everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Peace Talk. So normally we're talking to the artists and bands that are coming up to play for us in at the Mars Bar in Worcester. But this mini series we're doing on the Jazz Central Mentoring Scheme. So this is a scheme that's been set up by the jazz bassist Arnie Somogyi, also a teacher at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire. And also with Phil Rose in association with Jazz Midlands and Birmingham Jazz. Phil heads up those. So Music Spoken Here has been a partner of the Jazz Midlands group for a couple of years now. So I'm delighted to be able to get involved in helping out with this particular scheme, running now in its second year. So the scheme itself gives emerging young musicians, jazz musicians from the West Midlands, the opportunity to develop things like compositional skills, performance skills, and their own profile and the sort of professional network and things like that from an established artist in the UK jazz scene. So they're assigned a mentor through the program and develop a project, which we're going to be talking about today with, this is the first of our interviews with Dave Flanagan. So hi Dave, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Very happy to be here.
And your mentor is the guitarist Phil Robson, correct?
It is indeed, yes. Yeah, very, very lucky to have him on board.
Excellent. So let's just start off with you're a bassist yourself.
I am indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's start talking. Start off with the it's kind of how you got into your own musical journey. You're 27 at the moment, correct?
Yes.
So yeah, how did it all start for you?
Well, I'm from the Orkney Islands in the north of Scotland, so it's music was sort of very, very important in the community. So I was brought up in a school environment where I was getting exposed to folk and blues music from a very early age. I picked the electric bass up because of my dad. He used to play Stanley Clarke records and
Fantastic.
Electric bass to begin with, and
yeah,
I used to just sit in front of him playing along to records, and I put my ear along up to the amplifier and just listen to him play. And then one day he offered me to play and try it, and it just from there it's been non-stop, really. Well, I can't even think, is that 16 years? That's kind of terrifying to think about.
There you go.
But yeah, so then I like very early on did my first professional gig at 11. We were playing to 1,500 folk.
Wow.
Because the Orkney Islands are music's such an integral part of the community.
Right.
So opportunities, they're you get chances that you don't necessarily get elsewhere. So I was very, very lucky in that regard to have performance experience, getting the taste of what it's really like to be in front of an audience from a very young age, and something I'm very, very thankful and grateful for having. And then I got into jazz a little bit later, when I was about 15, when the National Youth Jazz Orchestra Scotland came up to Orkney on one of their outreach workshops. Met Andrew Bain and Malcolm Edmiston, and that was really the sort of the first. I'd had a little bit of exposure to jazz. That was the first real kind of taste of what jazz can be, and I'd never seen musicians like that. You know, like
right,
the improvising and the level of the performance that they were giving was unbelievable to me. I ended up getting involved in that system for a number of years, working my way through the different levels of that organization. Ended up being in the jazz orchestra for 2 years, doing a couple of Scottish tours with them. We're down in London. We played the along with the Lincoln Centre Youth Orchestra as well. Really great opportunities. And then through that, knowing Andrew, I found out about the Birmingham Jazz course, and that's been it. Ended up getting on that through knowing it from Andrew, and then meeting Arnie and Mark Hodgson and auditioning, going through all that process. It was really, really a really nice kind of progression of my kind of educational life.
Right. And you started out on the electric bass. Was the orchestra stuff? When did you transition to or start working with double bass?
It was during what would I have been, like 17 maybe. I kind of first got 16, 17. I got an opportunity with my high school, actually. They bought a double bass, and they knew
Fantastic.
I played electric, and they gave me that chance. And it was a very, very good fiddle player and a fantastic teacher called Douglas Montgomery that first gave me the opportunity to pick one up and have a go of it. And I was dreadful. I was so bad because it's such a like. If anyone that's tried to play double bass, it's a really hard instrument that like hurts your fingers, and it's completely different from electric bass. So it was, you know, you kind of expect, oh, I can do this. It's going to be easy. I can pick this up. I play electric bass, and it was just a very steep learning curve that I really only kind of got over in my third year of college. Because I did do some double bass with the National Youth Jazz Orchestra Scotland, but it was very much like I'm still learning this,
Mm.
and it was a good opportunity to have like the pressure of live performances to kind of to get yourself together on an instrument. Now it's something I play. I mean, I go between playing electric and double bass constantly now, so it's like balance of like 50-50.
One of the things I'm keen to understand from talking to younger musicians, because we've had a few on this series, but what's it like sort of coming into the world as a professional musician in the 21st century, especially with the rate of change of things like social media and platforms and technology that enable sort of so much stuff to be produced, a lot of it in isolation, I think, people doing stuff in their bedrooms on laptops and stuff like that. So the capabilities are there, but what's the reality of sort of coming out as a professional musician now in the current climate compared to maybe when your dad was playing?
Well, I was always maybe naively under the impression that I would go to jazz school and I would come out of it and there would be like a plethora of session work just waiting for you,
Hmm.
and like that sort of an established route to kind of go through. Um, Obviously, that's like not been the case for decades, really. Um, so it was kind of a steep learning curve post graduation in the real world, trying to make it as a self-employed musician. I think technology does an awful lot of good for us. We're able to reach a wider audience than we maybe wouldn't have not necessarily been able to have reached prior to it, because we've got this social media network. Whether or not it actually equates to genuine paid work is a different argument. And I'm guilty. I've got like I do the bedroom videos. I think it's for me it's something fun. It's like
Mm.
part of it. Like I enjoy coming up with little 15-second grooves and then playing a bass solo over it. It's a creative outlet to me, and I'm not under any illusions of the benefits of like going viral, because I think that's quite a fleeting success
Mm.
that doesn't necessarily develop a core audience that's going to come and buy your CDs or come to your gigs. So I think like it's something that we can use really, really effectively, but it's that getting it to transfer into real world success or real world applications. And I always
Mm.
wonder that when you speak to social media managers, they're always pushing like interaction and likes and comments, and it's like, well, where does it go after that?
Yeah.
Are people coming to your things, or do you just want to see a number go up on a screen?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, isn't it? It's you want people listening to the music, and you want people turning out to the gigs. I mean,
That's it. Well, that's it. That's why we
as a
do it.
live promoter, that's the most
Yeah,
important thing. They're the people they're the most important people, are the ones that are in the room.
and it's
Um,
finding a way to make your online content or your on like whatever you're using for your technology to feed into that. I think that's where the I don't know the answer to that. Like,
mm,
I think that's something that it changes so fast, and like even at 27, I feel completely behind on current trends. It's whenever I've done some teaching with like younger kids, the things that they speak about and the trends that they're following and the way that they create content is entirely different to the way my brain works. So it's kind
right.
of I'm accepting that it's going to be useful to me in some ways, but I'm not going to be spending days and days working on it.
Yeah.
Keep it fun and keep
Yeah.
it a positive creative outlet.
Yeah. I think a lot of a lot of things that I see on that get a lot of attention on YouTube and on social media with musicians is sort of technical stuff, and it's like, you know, I can do this, and it's lose a lot of it's losing the musicality of it, and because a lot of it is done in isolation. I
Well,
saw
that's
something
it. Yeah.
the other week about how many, you know, if you look at the charts in the 80s, even the pop charts in the 80s, how many bands there were, and now it's all just, you know, how many
Where have the
bands
bands
can
gone? Where have
yeah,
they gone?
you know, it's
Yeah,
yeah.
I think you hit on something really interesting there with the when you get these videos and it is always someone playing incredibly technically well, but they're on their own. And it's the question is like, can you replicate that with other musicians, or is it sort of like just a showing off piece, you know?
Mm. And how do you respond to those other musicians in, you know,
Yeah,
in the room?
and like
That's
you
you know,
know, as a
that's the
bass
magic of
player,
a band, and you know.
well, that's it. Yeah, I was like, like as a bass player, I love locking in with a drummer and just sitting on it. I play like a lot of blues music, like alongside the jazz stuff. I play in like a blues band called the Andy Taylor Group, and me and the drummer just spend all our time locking in and being super super tight together, so the guitarist Andrew can just go and do it on top. And he's very very technical, but it doesn't happen without the rest of the band playing. You know, so it's
Mm.
I always wonder when I see these guys sitting on their own, and you're like, can you do it for real though? Like,
Mm.
you know, how like 50 takes in your room's one thing, but can you do it live in front of an audience? And
Mm.
yeah, I mean, there's places for it all. I mean, you know, you watch it and it's incredible to see such technical capabilities, but just like groove, man. Like, I just like
Yeah, yeah,
does it
yeah.
sound good and like, you know,
Yeah, up at a jam and
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. If you can do both, then that's grand.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and some people can, you know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's talk about your project then that you're developing under the, or you've developed really, because we're coming up to the gigs.
Yeah.
Talk about those
That's,
in a little bit, but yeah. So it's called The Land Beyond, correct?
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a project you developed along with Phil under the under mentoring scheme. So yeah, talk us through the project then.
So, in its simplest form, like I wanted to explore um, the journey that I take to go back to the Northern Islands from Birmingham. So it's passing through the city centre of the city of Birmingham, all the way up the motorway up to Scotland, and passing through Glasgow and passing through mountains and places that are kind of significant to me on that journey home, locations I've spent a lot of time in. So I really wanted to focus on creating a musical journey that was coherent, so you could feel this sort of the idea of the journey going throughout all the pieces, but
Hmm.
the change in landscape as you know as we go further and further north, culminating in a song that's derived from the pitch content of a Orcadian folk song.
Cool.
So that's the bare bones of it, and it's something like landscape and the interaction of landscape and music. Something I've been interested in for about 5 years. Ever since I did this experimental graphic score piece on based on the Sky Cullen. So it's been something that's constantly kind of at the forefront of the way I think about music. Um, my first album was the same. It was all derived from uh, grid references and latitude and longitude, but then created like tone rows that influenced the
Okay.
piece of music. So it was all like deeply linked to locations. And this one's less technically linked, but more sort of I guess spiritually linked to these places. So I'm not necessarily caring so much about finding ways to link maps into music, but I'm rather thinking of like the emotions of different environments.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm really excited. It's you know it's Phil's been so great and so positive about the music, and it's just been something that's so encouraging to have someone like him just saying, yeah, this is good. You're doing the right thing. This is going in the right direction, and having that sounding board to just be like, do you think this works? Because I, you know, composing can be quite a solitary endeavor, and
Yeah. Hmm.
you don't sometimes know if what you're writing is any good. I don't certainly. I mean, like you write something and you think you're happy with it, and the next day you
Yeah.
listen to it and you're like, oh, I hate that now. Like scrap it all, you know. So it's been nice in that regard that Phil's just been there, and you know whether he's been in New York and we've been phoning in with the big time differences, or it's been in Ireland, it's like he's there to just be like, no, this is like, keep doing this. It's good. Like, you know, it'll come together, and I kind of like a really positive force.
Excellent. So who else have you got with the band? That's so Phil will be with the performing with you at the festival and the other gigs. So
Yeah, so Phil's on the guitar with us, which is fantastic. I saw him at Thousand Trades of Birmingham Jazz with his organ trio recently, and it was just phenomenal. And I was sitting there thinking, you know, I'm going to get to play with this guy. It's fantastic. I've also then got John Turville on piano, which is really exciting, and Jonathan Silk on drums. So a lot of Johns. It's
cool. So that's the band. So you're playing the the Jazz Central Mentoring Festival that's going
yes,
from the 6th to the 8th of September up in the 1000 Trades in the Jewellery Quarter in Birmingham.
yep,
And then I believe you're also playing the Albany Club in Coventry on the 19th of September.
exactly right. Yeah,
Excellent.
should be really, really good fun.
Cool. So be looking forward if you're in the area, either Birmingham or Coventry, come along and see that. Is there anything that you could sort of take from the program just to sort of close out the mentoring program? What's been your experience of that, and sort of how has it helped?
I think so. This career can be sometimes quite directionless and quite open and quite terrifying in that regard, because you've not got a set route. You know, you just sort of take chances and opportunities. And this mentorship scheme has given me purpose to start writing again for my own projects, and it's given me the, the network of promoters and musicians to just actually say to myself, no, you know, okay, so COVID sucked and the scene was like dreadful and there was no gigs, but we're in a place now where this is something that's viable, and having that basically just told to you, because sometimes it's, you know, you believe something, but you know,
Right.
if you get a bunch of people in a room and you're like, here's everything you need to do to get a tour, and we're going to support you, and we're going to like help you put some music together and put a band together. You know, I just do a lot of session work and teaching. I don't really focus on my own music, so
Mhm.
it's given me that kind of that purpose and that reason to go, actually, no, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. That's the best thing, really.
That's fantastic. That's great. So, well, let's say just to repeat those dates. Sunday the 8th of September, it'll be playing at the 1000 Trades in Birmingham, and then on Thursday the 19th in Coventry at the Albany Club. I'm sure we'll be seeing and hearing lots more from Dave in years to come.
Hopefully.
Is there are you planning any recordings or anything?
That is, I've been so focused on getting the music written and charted out that I've not even thought about that. But hopefully in the new year, getting a tour sorted and maybe some recordings, it would be ideal.
Excellent. Well, we'll be looking out for those. Thank you so much for your time today, Dave,
Oh,
and
thanks for having me.
look forward to seeing you in Birmingham.
Lovely. Looking forward to seeing you too.
Take care.
Cheers.